Welcome, I'm Billy, and this is number 8 of the, FreeCAD Woodworker Perspective for Absolute Beginners. After this one, I'll close out with number 9, and then that'll end that series. And I'm already starting to think what I want to do next. I'm not 100% sure, but I think because there's so many CAD videos out there, or FreeCAD, they show you how to model mechanical parts and shapes. Not really many of them are covering the woodworker's perspective. So to give you a little bit of the modeling from it's still woodworking, but a mechanical type drawing perspective, where you can, I might do a series on just woodworking hardware, the various types of screws and brackets, and the hinges, and you have locking, I forgot the name of it, just hardware for woodworking. It is that series will bring it all together after completing if you do stick it out with me. I hope you do. I appreciate it for those that do. If you do the woodworking perspective series and then you do the hardware series, during the hardware series I will try to find hardware with maybe some moving parts or something different, like those special kind of hinges for cabinets, things like that, and we'll 3D model those, and we'll start dabbling in the assembly workbench to assemble those parts, and just like something like a simple clipboard, the hinged piece on the edge of a clipboard. That's not an easy piece to model, depending on what style you model. It's got a coiled spring under it, and I think that's pretty fun to if and when we get into that. All right, I know, long-winded as usual. Let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to be working on I think it's an Early American Candlestick, just to kind of get us into that, doing revolving type sketches. So I thought it looked like a quick sketch to do. It's 2 pieces. You got a base of a candle and the stem. So I'll go ahead and pull that up real quick. Here we go. That's with that. Let me go ahead and show you there you go. Early American Candlestick. Who makes those anymore? So that's what we're going to be doing. The base down here at the bottom has a groove in it. That could be a little tricky, but I think what I'm going to do is revolve. I could draw this base right here as a circle and pad it. Then we have to put curvature on the sides. But I think since we're in the spirit of revolving things around axes, we will draw a profile of this, revolve it, and then we got to find a way to put that groove in there. We can do it into the profile, but I'm not sure. I may come back and put that groove in there a different way. And then the stem here, that'll be fun too. All right, back to the dimensions. There's the base. It's 2 pieces. They show you there's an undercut under the bottom here. When we come back and put this 1/2-inch diameter hole, we'll do a countersink type hole, and it'll put that little undercut in there for us. At various heights here, 1.5-inch increments, the diameter changes along the stem. So we'll lay out some points or lines on that, and then just kind of use I don't think we have used polyline for sketching. I call it a polyline. It might be called something else. We'll try to use that and see if we can work that. And this piece up here, the socket for the candle, that'll be all one piece with the stem, and then we'll come back and we'll put that 3/4 diameter hole 1 inch deep here. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I have not tried drawing this yet, so hopefully I can get through it without too many issues. And we are going to have two parts. I'll call it a base and the stem. So let's go ahead and do a parametric part. Come up here, and we already have one body. I know we're going to have two pieces, so I'll start another body. I'll rename this one up here to, and I'll just call that the base. And the next body, I'll rename that, just call it the stem. All right, let's jump into the base. So we got, right click it, make it an active body. We'll do a sketch. Either one of these vertical planes will work, but I'll go ahead and use the XZ. Use that. I was going to zoom out a bit. I'm going to look at the base dimension. It's 4 inches diameter all over, overall. Move this over a little bit. Come out here. I can read it there. We know we're going to come out about 2 inches, so I can see it on the screen about 2 inches. Oh, look at that. Looks like I might be right on it. Alright, and we know we want this to be radiused, so I'm just going to right click and get out of that. I'm just going to put a line segment here. Go up. Put another one, come over here. Try to make that a horizontal constraint. And then I'm just going to use the center. Yeah, sometimes I use a 3-point. I'm just going to use this one here because I know the center of the radius is going to be here on that line. And then I'm just going to say that. Oh, let me right click and get out of that. Try that again. I'll put it somewhere about there, center. We know that the radius is going to come up here to that line and swing down and be attached to that line. I should be able to trim that. All right. I do want this line and this radius to be constraint tangent. There you go. So that it automatically changes radius when we do that. Now this line I notice is not attached to here, so let's do that. I'm going to select that point, select this x-axis, and I think if I do constraint coincident, it should drop down on the line. No, it didn't like that. Alright, well then what I'll do is grab that line and just make it horizontal constraint. This symbol right here will do vertical or horizontal. Hit that horizontal. Okay, so now when I drag the line around, and the radius adjusts to that height. So we know we wanted, I think it was 5/16. I'll go ahead and set that to 5/16. And type 5 16 inches. Alright, and then we know that that line should be 2 inches long, 2 inches, and there we have it. Let me double check. 5/16 from the bottom up. Yeah, and then we have another, looks like 1/16 of an inch bump up from there up at a 3-inch diameter. Huh. Okay. And then I might be able to go ahead and put that little undercut in there too. That's probably what I should do. 1/16 up and then a 1/16 down. I think it's what I'll do. And the radius will be a 1/16 as well, is what I'm guessing. Okay. At a 3-inch diameter. All right. I'm thinking if I want to come back and put that in later, add it to it. I think it would be better if I do it here, so let's do that. All right, so we're going to go, it was a line that was from that vertical. We know it's 1/16 from this horizontal line up to here, but I'm kind of exaggerating the height of it right now. I'm just trying to come out to right here. Let's go ahead and make it 1.5 inches while we're at it. Yep, it was just slightly off. You see that right there, the tolerance in here. So you got to be careful when you're dragging stuff around and accepting the values. That was my actual drop point when I put that node in there, but it rounded to 1.5. So if you type 1.5, like I just did, hit enter, that should put it right there on the money. All right, we know this was from here to here was only a 1/16, so grab this point, that point, and the height or vertical distance. I must not have grabbed it right because I'm getting the error dimension. Let me try that again. This point to that point. There you go. 1/16. All right. I'm going to have to end up trimming this line out. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this constraint right here. I just selected it, hit delete. That way I can take that point off of that line, pull it back here, but then look what happened there. Okay, I see, I shouldn't do that. Let me undo it, and we'll figure it a different way. All right, so that's 1.5. We know that that comes down and goes under a 1/16 and then comes up like that. So I think what I want to do is go 1/16 radius, select that. I'll get it in the neighborhood, like that's the center. I'll go up to that point, bring it down and make it touch that line, make it coincident to that line, right click and get out of it. We already got that height set, so if I make that tangent to that line there, this radius will automatically fall into place and we wouldn't have to mess with this center right here. So let me go ahead and do that. Radius, line select, tangent, and there we go. All right, now we're going to draw another line that's 1/16 of an inch down. Across here, horizontal. I'm just going to use this line up here, this point, and this point here, and make it 1/16. All right, and then we want to go down like that. It's a trough. I don't know if that trough bottom is flat or if it's rounded. I'm going to assume rounded. Let me go back and look at it real quick. It's really hard to tell. Go to the photograph. Looks like it just goes down into the base and curves and come back up. But I know, like, if you use a chisel, hand chisel, you might be able to get rounded at the bottom. If you're using they might make a router bit for that, a rounded router bit that would go around and put a round in it. So I'll go with that instead of a flat bottom. All right, here we go. Look at it one more time here. That's kind of, I don't think they have that drawn correctly, but that's just me. I could be wrong. I think I'm just gonna just put a radius and just kind of like do a U shape here, put a trough like that. All right. Therefore, we only need, I probably didn't even need that line now that I think about it. All right, I'm going to use the 3-point method. Define the end of the arc here, the end of the other end of the arc there, and we know it's going to be about there. Yeah, I can get rid of this line here. I don't need it. Select that, delete it, because I want to make this radius a 1/16. So I'm going to select that. Dimension there. Radius is going to be 1/16. All right, and then we want to make this radius and that arc, that arc and that arc, two arcs, make them tangent. Okay, so far so good. And it looks like it's landing almost perfectly where that radius comes up there. Did I do it right? I don't know. It kind of looks like it could be like that. That might have been intentional. All right, let me look at the other one. There definitely appears to be a flat spot there. Again, I don't think this is drawn right. This is where you got to make a decision, I guess. So I roll that around. That's 1.5. That's 2. That's correct. This is 5/16. That radius is correct. So when you draw it and you do the math, this is what you come up with right here. I think what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make it a little smaller. I think what I'm going to do is just go with like if we were to run a drill bit, we got a round over drill bit here going around. And then here, this undercut, I'm going to give it a flat bottom. So let me erase that, because that's kind of more realistic if you were running a router bit. Come down and put a flat bottom in it, and then that'll help me it'll give me a little more control over this. So Let me go from here to here, just a 1/16. Grab this, put a trough in there. Trough. There you go. All right, so the width of the trough, I'm just going to make it a 1/16. Okay. And we'll go an 1/8 deep, maybe. That's a 1/16 there, so it just doesn't seem like that'd be very deep. But I'll go with a 1/16 depth. Okay. All right, so we got to use this command here to trim. There we go. We don't really need this line here. I'm gonna right click, get that. Select that and then delete on my keyboard. So I know we have like 5/16 to that. If we add another 1/16, that's going to make it a 1/2 inch. 6/16. So that's going to be 3/8 to that line. Get rid of this dimension. Get rid of this dimension and make this line. If I select these two, it might take this line and bring it down and mess it up, but let me try anyhow. I'm going to go from here to there and make the points coincident. Oh, it did it right. Yay. All right. Okay. So now I can put a new dimension on that line. Just accept whatever it is. 3/8. There you go. And then let's go work on, we got 5 degrees of freedom. Let's try to do this over here. And I can see, you see that line right there. We just need to make that a vertical constraint. So we'll select that and select that, and that makes it vertical. How many degrees of freedom do we have? What are we missing here? We got this radius. That needs to be a 1/16. Select that here. 1/16. Enter. Okay. This line here looks like it should be set equal to this line, but see what happens there if I do that. Touch that line, then this line, and use the equal sign. Yeah, okay, it did what it was supposed to do. All right, now look at this line. A few videos ago, I mentioned to you that when you break lines with this command up here, you see my cursor on the top of the screen, whenever you draw something and then you start breaking it, it messes up your constraints. If you think ahead and try to draw, like I didn't think ahead on this one. If I would have started over, knowing what I know now, I would have drawn it just like this outline here, and then just started dimensioning everything. But I kind of like drew a draft of it, and then I start breaking lines and moving things around. It kind of gets me in trouble. So that's one of the things I think I want to get into for woodworking, is to using up here in the upper left here, this draft workbench. It's almost like having a graph pad that you can just work out some of your ideas and sketches before you jump into Sketcher here and start sketching things up. So I think that'll be in another video. So we need to make this line horizontal. I'll select it, and horizontal, vertical, there you go. 1 degree of freedom, and that's just the radius. We need to set a radius. Take that, hit a dimension, and I'm just going to accept the radius that's there. Hit OK, and there we go. It's fully constrained. Yep, I know my dimensions look a little messy. Yeah, I could do something like that, yeah. That would clean it up a little bit more. Not perfect, but it's better. Alright, bring it up. Bring it in. Okay, close it, and we will now invoke the rotate command here. And it went around the Z-axis. Perfect. 360 degrees. I'm going to show you something. I can't remember if I showed it in the last video or not, but this angle here, this will, you may not want to rotate it. You may not want to rotate it 360. You might want to rotate it 180 or whatever. You see this line split right here? That's where it started, went around and came back 360 degrees. Or reverse, because I got reverse checked here. Even if you uncheck it, it should still be fine, which I just unchecked it. All right, so now I'm going to start playing with this angle here just to show you. I know this is a little sidebar. See that opening up right there? Or you could just type 180, get it. You might want a 90 degree segment. I'm going to type 360 back in there. Just wanted to show you that since we're here doing this. 360. And of course you can go higher than 360 and it'll start overlapping itself. Honestly, let me right click it and edit it because I've never tried that before. You see if we get an error. 360, I'm going to go 400. Yeah, look at that. It won't let me type. It won't let me type in the 400, so you're constrained to 360 degrees. Cool. On the vertical axis. There's our base. We got to put a hole in it. All right, yeah, let's go look at the hole real quick. It's a 1/2 inch diameter hole, and we have a little bit of a countersink undercut. I can't tell if there's a radius. I don't think it really matters the way it's drawn. These are drawn by hand, I can tell, and usually the what do you call it? The detail or the accuracy is not always all that great, especially when you put it on a printer and print it. It gets distorted. At least that's what it was for me back in the day when most of the drawings I did, job related, were all pen and ink on Mylar. All right, getting off subject there. Let's go back to here. We got to put a hole in there. It was a 1/2 inch diameter, and we were going to put a countersink in it. I'm going to flip over to the other side using this dot up here in the upper right. Boom, we're over on the other side. I'm going to select this face here. Select, come up here to. You remember we don't want a pocket. We want to put a hole. Since I think it's going to put a hole in the center. Do that. Look, there you go. All right. So over here on the left, the diameter, we got the depth, diameter. Yeah, diameter right here. So diameter, I'm going to swipe that and put 0.5. Select enter. Let me right click on that hole, edit it. All right, so we got that. Now, it's got that depth there of 0.98, but I'm just going to put through all. if you get, for instance, it's set a depth. I'm going to go minus, oh, come on, 0.25, let's try that. And then I'll hit out here in the space. You see the hole, it didn't go all the way through. The drill bit was trying to get, the tip of the drill bit came out. But what we want to do is for depth, we're just going to put through all. You can't read it, but it should say through all. Yeah, through all. And it just puts a hole through it all. Okay, now we want to come down here, and this type of hole cut we're doing is a counter bore. And the counter bore diameter, it should be, I'm getting error messages on that one. What did I do wrong? Countersink? No. I'll tell you what, let me close this window here, the error window. I'm gonna hit OK here. It didn't like that. I'm gonna right click the hole, bring it back up, edit it. Through all, diameter. Countersink. Oh, 0 depth. We want to go 16th, and then select here. It didn't even like that. Let me try a larger diameter. Oh, yeah, look at that. 13 point something inches. That's way out of whack. All right, so I'm just going to put 2 for right now. Select down here. There you go. Okay. Look at that. That's definitely not what we want. We don't want a countersink. My mistake. We want counter bore. And the depth of the counter bore, 1/16. And we'll select out here. There you go. Now we're getting it kind of dialed in. All right. Now I need to go back and see what size that counter bore is. Counter bore undercut is 1/16 deep. They don't give, well, do they give you a diameter? Since this up here is about 3 inches, I'm going to go out a little past that and go 3-inch diameter, 3 1/4, 1 5/8 would be half. So, but the diameter would be 3 1/4. So let me try that. Yeah, diameter, not radius. Go 3 1/4, 3.25. We'll select out here in the 3D model space. There you go. And I'll hit OK. Sorry, that was kind of painful for something so simple, but we did it. Now look at how this circle has straight lines in it. There is a setting that I plan to get into that preference settings in the future. Believe me, if you put this on CNC or you printed it out, it wouldn't come out with straight segments like that. It would come out round. That's just representing the circle. And so the distance from here to here, that segment, you can change the number of segments per inch, I believe, or I can't remember, but when we get into preferences, there's a setting that you can make this really tight, and these lines will be so small, it'll be hard to tell that there's line segments in there. The problem with that is it takes up a lot of memory in your computer, in your file. So when you go, if you wanted to render this piece, I think during the rendering process it'll fix it and give you a pretty picture. But for drawing purposes, this is good enough for right now. And when I get into preferences in the future, we'll work on that where we can tighten that up a little bit, make it look a little bit better. But that's what it is for now. You get that in other CAD programs too, to set that to make those line segments smaller. I know some people get annoyed by it, but not me. There you go, put that there. I'm used to it. Alright, so we got our little trough going on down in there. I think we're done with this. And by the way, a little trivia here. The reason why they put the 16th, I was reading the article on this. The reason why they put the countersink in there is for uneven tables. Like if there's something on the table that gets lodged under there, it would make the candle like lean over to one side. It wouldn't feel very stable. So by putting countersink in there, if you have any unevenness in your table, that is supposed to help. Anyhow, that's what I read. Trivia time. Let's go back and do the candlestick or the stem now. We're done with the base. We're done. All right, let's go to the stem. Right click on that body and make it active. I will select sketch. We definitely want to put it on either the y-axis or the xz plane because we just need a vertical z-axis to rotate the candle stem on. So I will go with this one here, YZ. How about that? Double click on that one. There we go. All right, this one here, I'm going to need some construction lines to kind of help me shape this. So let me put those in there. Already got the 16th base. We want 3/16 and then 1.5. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3/16 and then 4 times 1.5. All right, draw this line. I'm going to go ahead and put this over in construction mode. Horizontal line. Put some more in here. Just putting them in here. Oh. Delete that one. 2 more. Horizontal. Horizontal. 3, maybe one more. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be it, I think. All right, so this line we want a 16th over that. Five 16ths. Plus 16th, so that's 6 16ths. That's 3/8 plus, okay, 6 16ths plus 3 16ths, 9 16ths. So 9 16ths to that one. So that point, that line, 9 16ths. Enter. And then the rest of them are 1.5 inches. Come on. 1.5. There to there. Oh. Come on. Point to point. I right click to get out of the dimensioning mode. There you go, 2 points, 1.5. Right click to get out of that, point to point. There we go. 1.5, boom. All right. Pull them over. All right, so that's going to help us get our shape. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got space, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We got our space, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Get this up to there. All right, we're 1 inch. First off, it says it's 3/4 inch diameter there. Let's do that. So if this line is 3/4 inch diameter, then half of 3/4 is 3/8. Come on, right click, select that line. Here we go. 3/8. But this point should be coincident to the vertical. There we go. Okay, and the next one, 13/16 diameter. So I'll make this line half of 13/16. So what is that? 13/8? No, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Select that dot and then this vertical line and coincident, that kicks it over. Oh, that goes to the next one up. So this one is 1 inch diameter, 13/16 diameter there. I got ahead of myself. So this one is 0.5. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and set all these points right here on this line there. Coincident, select that point. Z-axis, coincident, that point, Z-axis, coincident, and I want to select this line here, and that's the one that was 13/16, so 30 seconds, 13:32. Half and then 5/16. Which would be quarter and 5/30 seconds. Quarter and 5/30 seconds. Quarter and 5/30 seconds. Okay, I don't use a lathe, but I would imagine those are the points that you would want to lay in your curve for a lathe. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Go back to the photograph. It does kind of sweep out at the bottom and kind of necks down, gets skinnier at the top. All right, so we want a little bit of a curve here. Put in this piece here, 3/16. That is 1 1/16 diameter, 3/16 full radius. Full radius means 180 from point to point. All right, so I'm going to take it out of construction mode, and I'm going to put a radius there, and I know the radius is going to be right around here somewhere. I'll go ahead and just set it there for now. Do something like that. All right. So the radius should be, it's a full radius, 3/16, so it should be 3/32 radius. Let's see what that does for us. And dimension that, 3/32. Okay. Now I want to align this point to that point and just make it vertical. That'll give me a perfect 180. That doesn't look right. It should be landing right on top of that base. Let me go up here and select this command here to remove what's in front of me. So the height from there to there, my dimension here could be wrong, or the tolerance inside of FreeCAD could have, that little bit of tolerance could have thrown it off. So what I'm going to do is go back to the other sketch and steal that height and use the height here instead of this. We'll see. So let me close out of this sketch. Here's a sketch. I'm going to open up the base, open up the hole, open up the revolution. There's my sketch. Double click the sketch, and it's 3/8. 0.38. Double click it to see, 0.38. 0.38 is the height. So close that, reduce it, double click on this sketch, and from that point down, I'll go to that point. It should be 3/8. I'll tell you what, since I've been doing everything in fraction, I better stick with that for the tolerances. 3/8. Yeah. So my math was a little bit off here somewhere. This one here. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of trickery here. I want to move this up because I want it to get it to lay right. You know what? Even if it's a little bit off, I'm drawing these in two separate parts. When I bring it over and lay it on top of this base, it shouldn't matter. It's just a hair off. But these little nitnoids, they kind of bug me until I get it right. So, 375 is rounded to 3.8. You saw in the other sketch, it's 3.8 from the bottom up. I don't know why it's not landing right directly on it. I gotta go back and take another look. All right, what's going on here? So from here up is 0.38. So on my other sketch, it should land right there, perfectly on there. That's attached there. Close it. Go back to this one. That's bugging me. All right, and I did set it to 3/8 there. Oh, let me delete this and see if that jumps up. Delete. Yeah, that should move. So from there to here. Um, 3/8 enter, and it's still not landing on there. Whew. All right, I'm not gonna let me look at the go into the model here. Let me see if the sketch is landing on the origin point. So what I want to do, I'm gonna try a couple of things here. Turn the origin on. Right click on this side. Yeah, and that sketch is laying. That's laying right there on the origin. Turn the origin off and select the base up here. Come down to data on the lower left. Placement, position, Z. All these numbers are 0, 0, 0. That's good. Okay, down. All right, now let me examine this sketch. Oh, close. Let me put the origin there. Yeah. Right side up here. Yeah, it looks like that is laying right on there. That is strange to me. Somebody's probably looking at this right now, yelling at me, trying to tell me what the problem is, and I'm not figuring it out. But that right there, when it swings around and comes down, it should, the end of that arc should land right there, and it's not. And that's really bugging me, and I think it has to do with the tolerance stack as we go from here up to here, up to here, from here to here, and with a little bit of tolerance. Like if this is larger than what I've specified just for tolerance reasons, which it is, because I had a fraction is 3.75, that would equal 3/8, and FreeCAD rounded it to 0.38. So that took this line vertically up a little bit, and it probably did the same thing to the 16. And by stacking those, it put it higher. And then when I came back and drew this in and went from here down, then it started stacking dimensions in the opposite direction, so they're not going to meet. But when we lay this stem on that base, it'll be perfect. But it's just bugging me that these tolerances are doing this to me. So I hope this is a good lesson to you. I'm taking something really simple and making it more difficult only because I'm picky I want to see it land exact, and it's not happening that way. So what do? Don't know. Maybe it'll jump out at me as I'm working it. All right, I'm going to turn that off. All right, we're done with the base. We'll close that base. I'm going to double click on this sketch here, and I guess I'm just going to accept it. Three 8/7 inch. Go back. So we got 5/16, and we're going up another 16th. That's 6/16, and that is 3/8 to that line right there. So this radius should land right on there. I could make the radius a little smaller, but the radius should be 3/32 because from here to there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a line in there at 3. Let me see, I'm going to stack it 5/16 and then go up another 16th. I wonder if that's what happened. I know I'm talking to myself, getting cryptic here, sorry. Alright, so I'm going to put 2 construction lines out here. I'm working on a theory now. Alright, so from here to here is 5/16. 5/16 fraction. And then from there was a 16th. From there to there. 16th. 1/16. Enter. Alright. So I have a dimension there and then another dimension. They might have rounded, and let's see what happened there. That's landing directly on that radius. So something is wrong in the other sketch that I drew. Again, this is all part of my troubleshooting, so I'm going to back out of that. We got that and then that. So the 2 dimensions stacked on each other. Close it. Open up the base. Go to double click on the sketch. I believe that is the issue. I need to get rid of this dimension, delete it, and we need to go from here to here, and then from there to there. And I'm going to get rid of that radius. I'm going to remove this radius because that's going to try to lock everything in if we try to move it. I'm going to, that height can stay because that's just the groove. So without that, all right, I'm going to try to give, let's see, that is tangent. So I should be able to just measure from, I'll try that, measure there, down to here. And that should be 5/16. That dropped it down some. Okay. Yeah. I think we found the problem. You saw it, it pulled it down. Okay, and then from here to here would be 1/16. From here to here, since we measured to that point, we want 1/16. 1/16 equal. before we fully constrain it, I'm going to close it out and look and see what effect that had, because it should have correct. Look at that. It dropped it right exactly where we needed it. Okay, close. So now I can go back to this sketch here and get rid of that 1 degree of freedom. If I attach that, it's showing me a lot of stuff. That's not right. All right, so I've got vertically, I've got from here to there worked out. 1 degree of freedom. Maybe if I put a dimension there, yeah, that did it. It just needed that radius. You don't want to set that radius, just let it be whatever it is. That big number there, just let it be what it is. And let's see, it didn't like that. Let me try something else. All right, I want to try maybe this radius. Over constrained. Right click. Let me try this line segment here. Over constrained. Right click. All right, we're getting close. That one. Over constrained. So right click to get out of that, right click again. So it's in this radius here. And I gotta pull this over to make sure. I see red, I gotta make sure I have a line segment there. Alright, pull it back. Hopefully there's a line segment there. Let me grab it. Let me close the sketch. Yeah, there must be a line segment. If there wasn't a line segment, it would have broke the, the block would not have been good. Double click the sketch. That radius, it has something to do with that radius. I accepted the radius and it didn't work. So this time, let me put in 3, over here on the right side of the screen, that 0.3125, from here up, that should be what it is. You know what? Or what I should do is align that to this line. Cancel that. That's what the problem is. The center of that radius needs to be vertically attached to that line. So vertical, and there we go. Oh my goodness. That's what you got to get in here and do sometimes, troubleshoot. I know I'm driving you all crazy with this back and forth, but I just want to get it right. There we go. And then now when I go to this sketch, everything falls into place. Ooh, I'm happy now. All right. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. But I do need to turn this icon on up here to remove part of the base. Let me move this over. Yeah, it shows that I need a line segment there. Alright, so I'm going to put a line there. Turn construction off, go from there. Go from that point and go there. So we got that line there. And I'm going to go ahead and select that line, put a dimension on it while I got it here in front of me, and hit OK. This base now that I got the base figured out, I'm going to go back and hide it up here on the upper left. Hide it, get rid of it. There you go. All right. All right, where do we go from there? It took a lot to get there, but we're right here right now. At 1 1/16 diameter. Oh yeah. So we need this circle to come out to this point here. I see that radius there. So how do we do that? We got 0.09. Cancel that. Up here, 4 degrees of freedom. Alright, we got something locked in here we shouldn't lock in. So I'm going to remove that. That number there, 0.09375, it rounded it to 0.09. So we're just going to go 0.375 minus this number here to there, and then that'll put it out. That'll put the edge of it, I guess, tangent to that vertical line there. Okay, so this needs to be aligned vertically there. That does. Okay, so these are all vertical. That's fine. Now we need to get this over to here. And I'm trying. Oh. It won't move because you see this arrow here and you see this arrow here. They're both pointing towards each other, indicating that there is a midpoint here. So I'm going to select that midpoint. There you go. I know hopefully you could see it on your screen, but it's very difficult to find it behind that period or dot there. But I did select it, and now I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard. Boom, there you go. So those arrows went away so that we're not attached to the midpoint. So this, in theory now, should slide over it. There you go. And you see this point's not locked to that point, and all kinds of good stuff like that. So, and this can move around too. And look at that. So since this radius is set, and these 3 points are lined with each other, if I do this point and that point, make them coincident, then yep, there you go. All right, I should still be able to have control over moving that. All right. Wow. All right, so back to where we were. 0.375 minus this number, and it should get us pretty daggone close. I'll use minus 0.9. So, all right, so what are we going to do? We're going to do this line here from that point over to here. And we're going to use 0.375 minus 0.09. Hit enter. Because of that number there, the rounding, it didn't land directly on it. So let me try 9375. Let me back that up. There we go. Try that again. All right. Let's see if we can get closer there to there. And it will be this one here. And it will be 0.375 minus 0.0935. 375. See if that, yeah, there you go, see. So I guess the lesson learned here is this number here is the true number, and then when you double click on it, you see it just rounded it to 0.09, I'm sorry. So they're just rounding here to two decimals here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're out to 5 decimals here. So it can mess you up depending on what number you're using. And I know in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. Candlestick, it was in a little bit or off, but again, that's who I am. All right, so now the rest of it hopefully is going to be easier. Let me see. Look at it one more time. Yeah, so it's going to bump out a little bit and then work its way up there. There. And then out just a all right, I'm going to go 5/16 diameter to the top of the stem, and that's at 6 15/16 from there. Wow. Is that possible? That's that piece there. Go back to the picture. Yeah, so to the top of that radius there, 6 15/16 will go up, and then we need to build down from there. All right, I'm done with these construction lines. Have no more use of that. Remove. Put a construction line. I just set the construction line. Put a line here, out to here. Draw a line up here, just sweep one across there, and that point to that point. Hit escape, try that again, right click, get out of it, that point to that point, dimension, there we go, and we said it was 8 15/16. I'm going to go ahead and just type in 8 for right now, hit enter, go back and look, because it could have been 9 15/16. And no, it was 6 15/16. All right, 6 15/16. Double click it, I'm going to put 6 plus 15/16, see if that works. Yeah, that did work. All right. Go back to there. All right, so 6, that brings us up to here. And then we got another, that ring looks like it's the same as the ring down here, size-wise. Well, no, it's not. Same height, 3/16, but different diameter to that outside there. All right, so now we're up to the, let's just call that slot looking thing. We got to put a little, what do you call that? A boss in the mechanical world. That would be like a boss sticking out the side there. Can't think of the word for it, but anyhow, it's at 1 32 of an inch down. Yeah. Let's come down 1 32 of an inch. So that means we're going to put another line in there. And then from there to there, 1/32. Enter. All right. Now I want to see is this line right here goes up 5/16 goes up, and it's either vertical or sweeps to the right just a tad. No, it's showing 5/16 diameter, so once it gets to here it should be a vertical line straight up because it's 5/16 diameter there, 5/16 here. So once we get up to here, it goes straight and goes straight up. All right, until we intersect that boss base. All right. So what I'll do is go ahead and start my line, the straight line, the vertical line, take it out of construction mode, and I want to go, since that's already dimensioned, go with that point up, there you go, and then vertical, boom, that should be a vertical line. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to draw here to there, and I'm going to put, we're going to draw, I call it a polyline, we'll see what they call it here. I'm just used to using other programs that use polyline, if I can find it. A B-Spline, that's what it is. That's right, it's a spline. This would be a polyline over here. Let me escape, get out of that. Yeah, create a polyline. Alright, so this is a spline. And what spline do we want? We want B-Spline by knots, B-Spline by control points. We have not covered spline yet, so this will be fun. I believe, yeah, you see the knots, the line is right on the knots, whereas let me give you a sample here real quick. I'm going to go B-Spline, and I'm just going to go here, just kind of zigzag it a little bit, and then right click to get out of it. Alright, so these are the points that I hit, and it created a B-Spline between those points. Now let me show you, right click, get out of that. I believe we're going to use the B-Spline, do the same thing there. Yeah, see, it uses, and then right click to get out of that. That's what we want, because the line will follow the points that you put down, and then you come up here and you select with your button to adjust those a little bit, right? You can adjust. So now let's try this one. I'm going to select them, hit my delete key, get rid of it. Although this right here, that could be useful too. Let me see something here. No, we want actual points. That's right. Yeah, okay. Alright, select that, delete it, select that line, delete it. We're going to try to use the B-Spline by knots. Alright? So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go up to these points, that point, grab that point, grab that point, and grab or attach to that point. And then I'm going to right click to get out of it, and now we can start grabbing points and shaping it. Now all the green here is just showing, let me Yeah, see that point is locked on, so we can't do anything with that. So anytime you latch these knots onto these points, you can't move those around, but you can use, like this point here was not attached to anything. So I should be able to shape it. Let me hit X there. No, I think because we attach to these points, that's what we're locked to. Yeah. So we don't have really any control over that when you lock them into points. Yeah, I've lost my ability to move it. And we want to get a little bit of a rounded out shape down here at the bottom. So let me go here. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit out there. And then we'll go to that. So this is what I'm going to propose. I'm going to put an extra point down here, and then I'm going to come up to these lines we drew across. I'm not going to go to the end points. I'm going to get close, but I'm not going to land on them. So then that gives us a little maneuverability. I will land on this top one up here. That gives us a little maneuverability to shape it a little better. So out a little bit there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to grab that spline and delete it. Go back up there and select that spline again. I will select this point here because we want that to be locked on. But like we said, we want to have the ability to shape this a little bit more. So I'm going to put it here, out here a little bit, because I think it came out further. And again, I don't want to go directly on those points. I'm just going to get near them. There's another one. You can see as it takes shape as I go up there. I think this one, I should be able to get on that point. Yeah, I'll lock it onto that point there, and then lock it on the end point there. Right click, get out of it. Alright, so let me see what kind of damage I've done here. It doesn't look very smooth, does it? Right click to get out of it, and then I should be able to start moving. Yeah. Okay, you can see what kind of effect it's having down here. What you don't want to do, and let me see if I can get this right here, is grab this point and pull it down so that, see, that's unrealistic, it goes below. So I'll go up a little bit. There you go. That's kind of what we want right there. Again, I have never turned a piece, so I don't know if there's a tool you can get in there that tight. There might be, but we'll go with that for right now. Let me see what we got here. We really don't want that curved back, although you can do whatever you want if you're turning this. You can make whatever shape you want. I'm going to see if I put it right on that. It's not attached to it, but it's put there. Likewise, I can put this one on there. That swings up, and it is attached there. Oh, I see what it's doing. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. That looks good. Nice and smooth. It flares out. This is a little, this one I think we have to work on. Let's see. Let's pull it in a little bit. And maybe pull this one out a bit. And you can also take this knot here, I believe, and kind of shape it like that too. Yeah, that's kind of what we want. We want it to come out and then have a very smooth approach as it goes up. I kind of like that. Yep. Alright, starts there, swings out. We're a little fatter from here over to here. We're a little fatter than what we should be. So I don't know if I can adjust it with this point. I want to give it more of a shape down here without going below that line. That looks good. Pull this over and in near that line. And then what does it look like up here? Yeah. Not there. There you go, sweeping back in again. I don't want that sweep. Alright. It bumps out there. So what I could do, pull that one in. I'm using my eye now to give it some nice curvature without it looking too bad. And we're near, we're not exact, but we're near. And that's why the dimensions are there, to kind of give us a reference. If you were on a lathe, I guess you would measure it and get it close. You'd probably go in dimensionally here, groove your wood there, and then start shaping it from point to point to get it to where you want it, and then break out your sandpaper, and while it's spinning, probably run over it and smooth it out. So I'm just doing the best I can here by eye. I think I got it, except for I don't like where this comes up, and actually I think I probably just need to pull that out a little. Yeah. Yeah. It comes out, it goes like that, and it looks, yeah. I like that. I think I can live with that. Okay, now let's build the cup piece. I gotta see what that one, oh yeah, that 16th, that one piece that hung over. Oh boy, oh boy. That was 5/8 inch diameter. How can that be 5/68, 5/8? Yeah, bigger, yeah, 5/8. Okay. Alright, I think I know what I need to do there. So 5/8 diameter, I'm going to draw a line, construction line here. I'm going to go there. Okay. And this line here, 5/8, half of 5/8, so 5/16 from here to here. That's what I want. There. So there. 5/16. 5/16. There we go. Alright, and then what's going to happen is I can trim that line back to there, and then I can put a line from this point to this point, and then if I just trim this line down to there, then I'm good. Right click again. Oh. Alright, there. Now we need to get this shape right here. Alright, I'm going to work on this shape right here. Coming up. 3/16 from there to there. Alright, put another line in here, construction line. And now we want it 3/16 this point to this point. Nope, that's going all the way down to the y-axis. We can grab this point, point to point, and 3/16. All right. Go out of that mode there. I'm going to put a radius in there. A 3-point. There. See, it's giving me midpoint. I don't want midpoint. Right click out of that. Start way over here. There you go. Because I didn't want to grab the midpoint of that line. Put that there. There you go. And now what I'm going to do is just align. First of all, align these two vertically. Okay. And then now I'm going to align this center point to that one vertically. There. So whatever height that is, this here, that radius is going to be automatic. I just need now to move it over to here. And from here on out, I'm going to probably eyeball a lot of things, kind of speed things up, maybe. And that's 1.5 inch diameter to the outside. So that'd be 3/4. 3/4 from, yeah, okay, to there. Draw a line here. Hit that, make that construction. All right. Then dimension from here to here, and we give it 3/4. And now I'm just going to pull this edge over close to that line right there. Because again, this is turned on the lathe. It's not super precision, but that's about where it needs to be right there. All right. So now I'll just delete that line. I don't need it anymore. I'm going to get rid of this line. Don't need it. Don't need that. As long as I don't move this other stuff around, I'm good. I should be able to draw a line, non-construction line, a regular line from this point to that point. And let me see what's next. I know I need a line out to here, so let me grab that point, make a horizontal line over to here, and then okay, I want to do something up here too, and then we're going to shape that as best we can. All right. Actually, this is a copy from here to here. That's a copy, and then you S it in there. All right, so let me try to copy it. I usually don't have high success with copying, but I will try it for some reason or another. Grab that line, control down, grab that line, grab that line, and I think this is the copy move array. That would be mirror. Oh, and copies. Enable creation of copies. Use J. Okay. Number. See, this is, I don't like the copy command in here. So copies, we want to use J, I think. Negative J. Apply equal constraints. Okay, look at that. That was just random what I did there, but at least it gets me. It gives me something I can move around. Nope, I'm going to have to undo that because it moved it. Undo that. Undo that. There we go. I'm going to try the old-fashioned Control C and see what that does to me. Control C, copy, and then Control V. It copied it. Huh. It did copy it. But I should not have grabbed that line, just that one. I don't know what, oh, I think because it was attached. Yeah, that was just me playing around with the Control C and the Control V, but this line here, I can trim it down to there, trim it down again. There we go. I don't want to mess with these dimensions because I use construction lines to get that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that radius there. I'm going to accept it, whatever it is. I'm going to right click. I'm going to make this radius and this radius equal. There you go. And then I'm going to make, what am I going to do? I'll leave it at that for right now. So we want to get that up there somewhere. Close, how high is it? That's what it's looking like so far. I accidentally got out of the sketch. So I'm going to come over here and double click the sketch. Go back in. Alright, we're 9 inches down to the base. So it'd be 9 inches minus 5/16 and 1/16, 6/16 minus, it would be 9 inches minus 6/16, which would be 3/8. 9 inches minus 3/8 is going to put us at 8 5/8 to the top, to there. So I'm going to go, yeah. So from this construction line, which now I can get rid of, delete that construction line. And I will go from this line, that point, to here, dimension it, and it's 8 and 8 plus 5/8. There you go. All right. Now I have to get something that looks like that in there. I know 3/16 from here. I think from here on out, I'd try to shorten the video a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and put a squiggle in there and see what we can do. So I got 1 point, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might put 6 points in there and go from there. So using this line here, see that picture? Swing out, go up 3/4 and around. I'm going to attach here. Yeah, all right. Oh, right click. Oh, it is that line. I thought it was in dimension mode. Sorry. Right there. Go to that line there. Right click. I know, I see it went right to the edge there, so I'll just go up there and move the point. All right. Yep. I'll delete that line and make that point, go to that point, and it might mess me up. We'll see. Yep, it messed me up. Right click, there. This has to be dimensioned from here to here. Accept the dimension, okay. And then that way that arc is locked in. Now I can make these 2 points coincident and it won't move the arc. Right click, try that again. That point to that point. Coincident, there we go. Okay, it's roughed in there, it's not perfect. Let me see what it looks like here. Actually, I can go with that. Maybe. Oh, wrong thing. I want a kind of a smoother transition off of this up here, and then it swings around, and that might be there. Smooth transition, and there's kind of a hard turn there, almost like a groove there, and then it tapers down. So I've got a groove, and yeah, it does taper down. It's not exact, but no. There you go. Hard groove, and then it tapers around like that. I don't know what you think about that. I think I might take it. I'll go with that. All right, this right here, I think that's what we needed. I think I can get rid of this line now because we don't want that. Since we do have a straight line there, I don't think I want to get rid of it. I think what I want to do is trim it, and it trims to there. I think I do want to get rid of it. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. I want that and that to be coincident. Hope I don't mess it up. I know I threw the measure very, very slightly out. Use this command, get rid of that. Okay. That goes up there. Okay, now I need to take this line, make it coincident to this. Yeah, select that line and then select the vertical z-axis, coincident. There we go. Now we need to finish it up by drawing a line all the way down. We don't need the that line there. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We got rid of all the construction lines. So now we have our object. That's fully constrained, or the green parts are constrained. Alright, in future videos I'm going to show you how to get rid of this green thing. You can, in preferences, you can turn all that off. It's there to help people, I guess people that use these kind of lines understand their shapes better. I don't use it. I don't need that. If anybody has an explanation for it, please put it in there. That'll probably help us, but I just don't benefit from it. When I did design guitar bodies, I get into a lot of this right here where I use this line, the spline line, and I just had to turn the stuff off to get rid of it. Now here's the problem, and this is where I'm going to break my rules. Actually, I don't have a rule when I'm using B-Spline. You see this 33 degrees of freedom? We're going to be here a very, very long time to lock down each one of these points. I've tried to do it before, and when I was doing guitar bodies with shapes, and I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't handle it. It was too much to try to fill all that in. So let's go ahead and close it, and I'll show you a method you could do to lock them all down. Put a point there. No, I want to draw a line to close the line, to close the shape. You go there, there, and hopefully we don't have any open wires. All right, before I lock it all down, let me close it and we'll see if we have any open wires. Close. That actually looks like there's no open wires. I'm not getting any. All right, so let me double click, go back to the sketch. This command right here, I think it was block the selected edge from moving. If I'm not mistaken, I can go over here to the upper left, hold my button down, go down here and select all of this. And I believe I can use this command to constrain and lock everything together. Wrong selection. Okay, that won't let me do that. I'm trying to remember if there's a way to do that. There might not be, but I thought there was some kind of selection you can do where if you don't want to go doing hundreds of dimensions on your shape here, you can lock it down somehow. Is it here? No, I thought it was this. I'm going to have to look into that for the future. I'm not seeing, oh, constraint lock. Create both a horizontal and vertical distant constraint on the selected vertices. So those would be all the points. Vertices, I don't know if you can get, all right, let me try that. Left click up here in the upper left, come down, grab everything you can see over here in the lower left panel, everything's selected. Come down here and hit constraint lock. Wrong selection. Alright, I think you have to come in here and individually grab these points to do a constraint lock. I'm not going to do that right now. This is one of the things when you're using a spline. I think I need to educate myself a little bit better on locking the splines down. Otherwise you'll be here dimensioning it and just spending a lot of time that's the juice is not worth the squeeze. You know, the benefit of doing that may not be worth it unless you have these points. You have a complex curve shape and you got these points locked in, and then it would be beneficial. And you might even, you know, to take it to another level, you have these points locked into a spreadsheet where you can go in and change the spreadsheet and these points will move around. You could do that. Then it would be worth the time to dimension every single one of these points and get rid of the 33 degrees of freedom. But for today, if I can have everybody just look the other way, even though you hear so many people say you have to constrain your sketches, this is the exception to the rule. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Let's go ahead and see if we can turn this into a candlestick. Let me close this out here. And with fingers crossed, we use this rotation. If the wire is closed and there's no open spots in it, it should rotate. Oh, that's a good sign right there. Look at that. On the vertical axis. Wow, good job everyone. We just got to put a hole up here. Oh my goodness, that makes me happy. Let me hit OK there. I'll accept that. I want to turn the base back on. Now we got the base. Put it here. Oh, wow, this is a lot of work. I thought it was going to be easy. Alright, we got to take care of this top here. You got to put a hole in there, so select that face and select the hole. And we want to get the diameter and the depth and all that. Oh boy, if you've hung in here for this long, you're a trooper. Thank you so much. 3/4 diameter, 1 inch deep to there. 3/4 diameter, 1 inch deep. Diameter 0.75. Out here you saw the hole open up. Ooh, all right, now 1 inch deep. It's at 98. I could leave it that, but I'll put 1. Whoops, 14. That's not good. There we go. So we drilled out the I'll call it the cup. This actually looks pretty smooth. The stem here looks pretty good. Yeah, all that looks good to me. Wow. Now I'm going to put some transparent, hit OK. I'm going to put some transparency on this stem, not the base, but the stem. Right click it. It is an active body. That's good. And let's make it transparent. Got to select it first. Select stem, view, transparency. I'm just going to set 10%. Just going to put transparency right here. 10. Select enter out here. There you go. Just enough that you can you can look in there and see that's satisfying to see that to me. Put that there. Go to isometric. Roll out. All right, good job, everyone. Let's clean it up here. There. You know what? It says unnamed. I didn't even save the drawing. I broke my rule again. All right, make all these rules and then don't follow them. But then again, I'm working for myself here right now, not for a company. So what I want to do, I want to color. So I want to select that one, hold down Control key, select stem. Let's do View tab, Appearance, and I know we select these blocks sometimes. What would be a wood color? I'm going to select there, slide it up and down. I don't know. Oh, you know what? It was kind of a cherry color, I think. Let's wander over here into the cherry section. Up, down, darken it. I'll go with that. Okay, there you go. A cherry wood candle. I will get into textures and things like that, and I think you can see. No, you can't see in there. Oh, it's set the transparency to 0. That's why. I wonder if I bump that up to, put it on 10 again. Hit that. Yeah, you can still see it in there now. I think that's a cool effect. I'm going to leave it because you can see inside down here too. All right, great job. Great job. That was satisfying. Took a long time, much longer than I thought it was going to take. And I'm sure my wife is waiting on me to do some chores around the house, and my animals are waiting to be fed. So I'll go ahead and close this up. Thank you all again for hanging in there. Thank you so much. We'll call this a candlestick. Candle, I think it's called a candlestick. Go with that. Save it. Alright, let's close out here. Okay, thank you everybody, appreciate it. Wow, that was really a long one. I really am trying to make these short, but I got one more left in the series, number 9. I may try to introduce a little bit of the assembly workbench. I'm not someone that uses assembly often, but I do want to get better at it. I'm just so used to, I guess you can call me old school, and I use my brain where I put parts together on my own using what tools are available in the workbench, the part design and part workbench, to put items together, align them, and make them together without using the assembly workbench. But I'll get up to speed on that and see if it's something that could be used in woodworking, and if that's the route that I want to take. I think I mentioned I want to do the hardware for woodworking, and that would involve maybe using the assembly workbench. So I'll close out the series with number 9 after this one, and scratch my head and think about what I want to do next. But I appreciate everybody for hanging in there. Trying to get better at these. So I should close this out instead of rambling. Y'all have a great day or evening, whatever time it is for you now. Appreciate your support, and steady as she goes. Have a great day.